We go. Good morning, everybody. This is Stacy Turner with our DMOpro Zoom. I'm so glad that you're here and we're all back together again. It's been a couple of weeks, and I'll actually be in town for a couple of weeks and on somewhat of a normal schedule. So we'll be able to connect. And we have conference coming up. Who's going to conference? Yay, we'll get to see each other there. Anita did an amazing job, her and her team there in South Carolina at the Day of Impact. It was just fabulous. And poor Anita was stressed with everyone not getting their stuff together and having, everyone be on time with their registration and stuff. And yet it was just really beautiful. It was a beautiful location. Anita, you did fabulous. And I think everyone really learned a lot. There were some just great speakers, and it's just something different about at a boot camp. Do you guys notice that? Like when you're in a, conference, there's the bigger teams and it's just a lot of people and a lot of information. And you get to see the big picture of the company. But at these smaller boot camps, you end up having a lot more like little side conversations with people at the table or in line at the food or, in the evenings, and it's just fabulous. So I don't know, Anita, do you want to say anything about your weekend as the organizer, as leaders, right? That's what we're trying to do is we're working towards leading a team. That's a big undertaking, but do you want to add anything about that, Anita?
Well, we are the hotel enjoyed y'all too, and they've already reached out for us to host again. They said we would love to host your team. So that's a good sign. And we're looking at the first Saturday in March. And I know that our new CEO is putting together some event guidelines and they'll be published soon. So I'm just waiting to read those before I sign a contract. And I mean, the event was amazing. Our speakers were amazing. The location, um, and it was refreshing. It was for me too. But if there's anything that really, and I'll say this on behalf of all market hosts across the nation, the most stressful thing is when people wait till the very last minute to register because there's just so many more goodies that we could bring if we know that the energy is going to be there because the people are there, the registrations are in, so the event's paid for. Like you can give all that energy that you're stressing out over it to something else if you know people, leaders especially, are registering quickly. And then you begin to invite. Of course, we want people to invite it up to the last minute and bring brand new people. But we want leaders to support these events and come out early and support the event. And then you've got all those leaders out there inviting, and it was magical weekend and we're ready to do it again. So thank you, Stacy. Thank you for coming because I think you traveled the farthest and I had no idea what you were doing before and after and purchasing a car and all the things you did. So that's pretty remarkable that you've got that much flex in your flexibility. I'm blown away.
Yeah, Anita did a great job. Everyone did. It was really just a fabulous weekend. So, thank you, Anita, for inviting me to be a part of that. And I hope your team was served well too, because as a leader, it's a lot of time and effort that you're putting into it. And you're hoping, that your team comes and that they get a lot of good information out of it as well. So,
Yeah, I've had a lot of really great feedback from my team and I mean, this season has been a sleepy season for a lot of team, and I really do think it woke people up. And I've heard that across the board yeah, a
yeah.
lot of great stuff came out of that. It was worth every bit of the stressing.
And one of the things that they did is they had a panel of, I think it was 4 or 5 different women, moms, sharing their health experience with Juice Plus, like how they were introduced to it, and then what changes that it made in them. And it was, and in their families. And I think that is so refreshing. And I would love to build that into any of the bigger events that I host anymore. That was really powerful to hear those ladies' experiences. And sometimes we can forget, like, I don't know, you just kind of get stuck in the details or like, okay, this next event and inviting this person, and you forget sometimes like the true impact that we have and are able to make in somebody's health with something as simple as these fruits and veggies. And then to hear that story multiple times, right? Like it just wasn't one person's story, it was all these ladies sharing it. You're like, we are doing good work. Like this is life changing to them. And then also on the business side of how the business has impacted them as well. And you just never know like what conversation. It was cool to hear like how they were introduced to it, what connections were made ahead of time. And Anita shared like with one of her stories, it was multiple exposures over time that we hear that, and you just don't, we can't grow weary in doing good. And like Anita said, it's kind of been this sleepy season lately and just a lot. It's been a lot to take in and manage in our own minds. And it has been for me where it's easy to just kind of check out or I don't know, kind of just lose the excitement and the passion. And that's what these events do. And so we can tend to think, well, I'm not really engaged in my business. I don't know if it's worth the investment. If I'm not really doing enough work, why go to conference? You know, when I get back into things, when I get plugged in, when I get busy, when I actually start doing some events, then I'll go to a bigger event and then I'll go to conference. But it's like, it's the opposite. We need to go to conference so that we get refueled and excited and, you know, hear these stories so that we will go into activity, you know, when we get back home. So, just kind of something to think about as you're, if any of you are still thinking about going to conference, there's people that have, you know, conference tickets still for $99 that they're selling that just have extras, and there's going to be hotel rooms that are let go even last minute that you can grab. So don't worry about that.
Mhm.
Gloria, I was wondering, I didn't ask her about this, but I would love to chat with you for a minute, Gloria. Can you tell us, Gloria's got like 15 or 16 people coming to conference. Um, Gloria, tell us, I talk about you a lot on here because I'm always in awe of the community that you have built. Gloria Hare is an NMD on my team, and just the tight community that you guys have, but also the consistent events that you guys do, I think has really built into this connectiveness of you guys that you all want to go to conference together. But that's kind of my perspective on the outside looking in. Tell us what some of the events that you've been doing, and then how are you getting so many people to come?
Thank you, Stacy. Yes, we have a tight-knit group, as you know, and you were with us from the beginning and left the area, and I had to take over, and I didn't want to, but we have just continued some of the things that you started with us, like once a month, a coffee chat. That's one of our best events. We had 20 some at the last one. And people like to hear other people's experiences, and we relate it to the research. Any experience somebody talks about, I will bring up whatever research backs up what they're saying, and then we really we'll pick a doctor like Dr. Pavasic. If you haven't heard that from Loretta Wilkins, I really stressed that one at the last. Uh, But I think it's because we make sure that people know about our events and always inviting team first and asking them to bring someone. We do watch parties once a month. We also do sourdough several times a month. That really is a big one. Cindy Galloway really takes reign of that. But as far as the number of people coming, these are old faithfuls. What can I say? I mean, people that get in and they really grab hold of the vision of this company and stick with you. You become such good friends. You want to see each other at the conferences. So that's our main thing. We do have a couple of new people, which we're excited about. And again, we don't let go of them. We bug them to death so that they keep coming to our events. I mean, that last minute call, I'll never forget the last minute call you did for me 18 years ago. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to go. I know enough about health and wellness. And I was tired that day. And she calls me. Stacy calls me, are you coming tonight? And that was the beginning of the whole adventure is that don't give up on people. I have people here and there will say, thank you for not giving up on me. And then they ghost me for a long time and I call them again and try to, get them to come. But anyway, I'm excited about this is our close conference, and I see Gwen on here. She and her husband are faithfuls that come, to just about every event. But this is our close one, Phoenix, for our area. So it's the easier one for us to get a lot of people to come.
Yeah. Are a lot of your people driving?
Yes, most people are driving. I'm flying and I'm telling my team I need more NMDs to come so that they will come to the dinner on Wednesday with me.
Yes.
So I told them that last week. I said, okay, guys, it's time to be an NMD
Yeah.
so that you can go to Wendy Campbell's dinner with.
Right. Yeah, that's the only reason. Just we want to have dinner with them.
That's a good reason, right?
Yeah.
But thank you, Stacy. Thank you for all you do. You are an incredible leader and have impacted my whole team. Um, they just love you. We all love you. This
Well,
whole that's on today, I know they all do.
no, I'm just always so impressed because Gloria had a choice, right? When I moved away, and like she said, she didn't want to. We were so sad the day that I pulled out of the driveway and like she was there. We were both hugging each other, crying, and we didn't even know each other that well, just for a bit when I lived there. And she chose to keep going and carry the torch forward and really this business became her business and she took it serious and kept doing events. And um, I will say again, until you start doing your own health events, your business just isn't going to grow because there's some ownership in that. And I just encourage you to just start doing those. And she did, and then it just kept going and growing and just kept, the next person, and I would come back, but it was her leadership, Gloria. It's all you. Your consistency and your leadership with this is what really moves people forward and has kept everyone consistent. And it's those events that they do on a regular basis that really help people know what to build into. They know what to expect, so they know what to invite. And there's that beautiful rhythm for them. And I think that that's, like she said, what keeps the faithful faithful. And then every once in a while, new people trickle in and grab hold of it and become part of that group. And that's where that just grows. So we have a lot to learn from your example, Gloria. And for Gwen too. Gwen is fabulous of just staying there, being in it, and staying consistent as well. So I was thinking about something. I forget. Oh, it was a sermon we were listening to when we were driving. And Collins Church is called, oh, why can't I think of it? I'll think of it later. But they're in Keller, Texas. He's a fabulous pastor, and we listen to their sermons a lot while we're traveling, like and catching up. And this season, this year, they've been doing a whole sermon series on being fruitful. And so, what he's talking about is, yes, the fruit of the Spirit. If you're a believer, you'll know what I'm talking about. But people will know your fruit by how you act, how you behave, and your words and your actions and how you treat other people is a reflection of what you believe, right? So um, this was something that was said in the sermon, and he was talking about, people knowing Christ because of how you behave. But I thought it also was very interesting and kind of correlated with what we do as we're sharing, nutrition and that sort of thing. So this was one of the things that said, you can have strong convictions, but still have a demeanor that is kind and loving that people are drawn to. If you are a tell it like it is type of person, you have to work extra hard at building actual influence with people. If they're not saying, tell me more, then you need to stop talking and then listen more. If you're talking more than you're receiving, then what you are learning is that you haven't paid the price relationally to say all of your truth. And your maturity or your knowledge should not close you off more. It should lead you to a bigger impact because you can connect, not because you can correct. So I just wanted to kind of break that down. Like, how does that apply to us with our Juice Plus business? So you can have strong convictions about food, gluten-free, or I don't know, nightshades, or soy, or that fruits and vegetables are really an important aspect to people's health, right? Whatever this strong conviction is about nutrition. But if you have, you can have that strong conviction or strong mindset about those things. You can have like a strong stance on that. You know what you know about it, but you can still have a demeanor that is kind and loving that people are drawn to, right? You've been around somebody before that they have a strong conviction of something, but like if you get into a discussion with them about it, it's just polarizing somehow. And you're like, no, I actually agree with you. Why are we where I'm on the same side as you, and now it seems like we're at opposition sides. But we can still be kind and loving, even though we strongly believe that the majority of the people we know are not eating enough fruits and vegetables and are on a really bad health track, right? Like we're concerned when we see these friends of ours or these family members or even strangers that we meet and they have these terrible food habits and lifestyle habits, and we can have strong convictions because we have this big knowledge base about all of things. But if we're a tell it like it is type of person, like let me just tell you about this. I love what this says. You have to work extra hard at building actual influence with people, because just because you have the knowledge doesn't mean you have the influence. And um, if you're talking more than you're receiving, then what you're learning is that you haven't paid the price relationally to say all of your truth. So if people aren't listening to what you're saying, that's the break in this conversation, right? That could be the break. If you're talking and talking and you're telling and you're telling and you're having these conversations, but people aren't responding, um, you're not receiving good feedback. You're not receiving people that are ordering. You're not receiving people that are joining your team. You're not receiving people that are moving forward in their business. Then that should be an eye opener to us. We should be learning that we just haven't paid that price relationally with them yet. So, excuse me, so we can have all of this truth in our head, but without the relationship with them, it's going to fall short. So, our knowledge, the information we know, the knowledge that we have, um, you could even say just like a more mature leader, or you're further along in your information in your health journey than other people. That maturity shouldn't close you off more to where you seem untouchable or you seem like the one that eats perfect, and that people are like, oh, don't let Stacy see that you're eating this cupcake. I've had people say that, and I'm like, I don't care if you eat a cupcake. But then it kind of makes me realize, okay, why do they feel that way? Have I said too many things that have been corrective and not enough things that have been connective, right? So it should lead you to your knowledge base, should lead you to a bigger impact because you can connect with people, not because you can correct them. And I just really was thinking about that. Like I stopped it and I went back and I wrote it down, and I stopped it and I went back and I was like, "Ah, there's just some really good leadership mindset pieces within that. Just we want to have a bigger impact because we can connect with people. And like Gloria said, there's consistently connecting together as a team. And then that impact is broadened. she's not on the phone correcting them because they didn't have a guest that came. She's inviting them to be a part of what they're doing, and that consistent connection has built these really great relationships where they want to come to conference, they want to be together because it's like that little family reunion, like she was saying. So I don't know, does anything in that stand out to you guys? Do you want me to put that in the chat? Okay,
Absolutely.
I'll put that in our Voxer chat. Was there any ouch moments in that, or were you guys like agreed? Did you think of somebody else maybe that has been in your life that's been a hard corrector but not a good connector? Maybe it was a parent.
Hey,
Some
Stacy, I have something to add to that. I'm actually trying to get out of this room. I was supposed to check out at 10 o'clock and it's 10:20. But anyway, yeah, ouch, absolutely. We had a family weekend, wedding, blah, blah, blah. And I was in the car with my niece, and somehow we got to the Juice Plus thing. I mean, we've had this conversation before, and she said, we were talking about makeup, and she said, I trust anything except those, what is it they call them? Not multi-level marketing, but the bad word that we don't even have anymore.
pyramid scheme.
Pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
Pyramid schemes. She's like, just like Juice Plus, a pyramid scheme. The only reason there's any credibility with me and Juice Plus is because of you. But all these pyramid schemes, and so instead of being curious, and I think curious is also part of connecting, instead of being, and I've kicked myself several times for the rest of this conversation, but instead of being curious, I said, Juice Plus is not a pyramid scheme, and neither are those other companies. Those are illegal. Those don't even happen anymore. But I wasn't curious. And I just later on, looking back on that conversation, I'm like, why do I always do that? Why do I always tell what I know or what I think instead of asking? Just all I have to say is, tell me more about that. So I'm just confessing, and maybe with my confession, I will I will next time have a better conversation than I did on Saturday. That's all I have.
Yeah, thank you, Marcia, for being vulnerable and sharing that with us. And man, it is so true. Like just staying curious and connective. There's so much ground to be gained by that versus just the knowledge base, right? But it's hard not to get defensive. And that is an ouch statement. Like when she says, like Juice Plus, and you're like, it's not. But yeah, I've been there too. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? No? All right.
I kind of tend to, when I get challenged about it, I just be quiet and I don't say anything. Whether I try to say it in defense of or, asking questions, I just kind of go, okay. So that's just as bad, I think, because I could ask questions and then respond appropriately, but I don't do either sometimes.
Yeah. And that's hard too. Like we want to stand in confidence of what we know, right? Like you know what you know, but then there's also people, it doesn't matter what you say, they're not going to hear you, right? Sometimes they just have to see um I don't know, just kind of see through the years or through time, but sometimes not saying anything can be the better option when you just know like further discussion on this is not going to lead to a happy conversation. But I do like Marcia's thought process of getting curious. Tell me more about that. And when somebody has to defend their own viewpoint, oftentimes they will talk themselves out of it. They'll like talk themselves back into a positive place and then you can go from there. So just tell me more about that. That's an interesting comment. I've not thought of it that way. Tell me more. Tell me how you came to that conclusion. Sounds like you've had a bad experience before. What's that about? Questions like that to just get them talking and sharing their experience, and then you get a broader perspective of where they're coming from and why. And a lot of times it's from a bad experience that they've had with something else. I mean, I can agree to that. Like, there are companies where I'm like, no, I don't want to get on an auto ship for your dog food. Like, you can't get off of that, or your makeup or whatever. I've had experiences where you can't send things back and you get stuck with something you don't want. And I can agree to that. I've also recently bought a pair of shoes off of an ad, and I don't know, they must be on some boat in the ocean. Like, it's been a long time now. I've not gotten those shoes, right? Like, you can have bad experiences with anything, but it's easy to like lump all ads now, like never buy anything, even though I've bought three other things from ads and they've been great and I've been super happy with those. My thought process still like, I want those shoes. I wanted them for the cruise and I didn't get them. And where are they? And, so somebody can have a bad experience one time that kind of taints them forward, but yet we can be the redemptive story of that too by being the positive connective influence in their life. So, I think I'll end with that today. Like, who can we be that positive connection for this week? You think about even just one person that you maybe has, just kind of been on the fence, doubting, like, lean into them, take them to lunch, take them to go get coffee, have a conversation with them. What team member can you reach out to? There's still time to come to conference. Like, keep inviting to them. And people will say last minute, long time. Like, you've heard people from the stage in their NMD speeches saying, like, I came to conference the first time, I wasn't even a partner, and it was a week before conference. Somebody had to be bold and saying, like, I would love for you to come experience this with me. So let's just walk in that confidence this week, but that connectiveness as well, and just making sure that we have a heart that sees them and hears them. And I hope you guys have a great week.
Hey, Stacy, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
You guys all, but this is so good for me. It's where I've been lately. But one thing I love an answer to is I was just thinking of this is my neighbor upstairs. She did Juice Plus for 4 months and now she's got something going on. And I mentioned to her last night about, have you considered trying the superfood again? And that you get a box free, this and that. But my question is, when you go there, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm trying to shut up and not say anymore. Do you have a balance there or something that you can say to kind of inspire that I'm curious? Maybe I'm curious. Why don't you keep, I don't know, why haven't you ordered again? I don't know the answer, but I'd love to hear some input on that, if that makes sense.
Did she cancel her order or was it one-time order?
She canceled it, and I know it was a money thing. Um, so, and I do know like she's having to sell her place, this and that, but she's got some big health problems. And so, I'm really concerned about that piece. And I did mention that to her.
Yeah. Um, I think one thing you could ask is, what are you doing to support yourself nutritionally right now? You're under a lot of stress with this house being sold, and it's easy to see, you know, um, investment in ourself as like extra, but yet, I'm concerned for you. What are you doing to support yourself? If not Juice Plus, like, what are you doing? And like, just step into the concern for her.
Okay, great. The other thing she did say, and you just inspired me because we talked a little bit about that again last night, and she keeps saying, yeah, she buys like every once in a while, she'll buy some different supplements to think that that's going to answer. But so I guess I'm like, okay, how do I say, yeah, but has that been enough without saying, yeah, has that been enough? Or
Yeah.
maybe I'm curious, how has that really been working out for you, maybe?
Yeah. Curious if you've seen any changes in your energy level or bathroom habits since you've stopped taking your superfood powders. Do you miss it? Something along those lines. Like,
Okay, I
just
like that.
curious if she's seen kind of what benefits she saw. You probably have already talked about that. I don't know. Does anyone else have any?
No, those are good questions because I forget when I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Me, I have one.
What's
I
that?
have one. What does her blood work look like? If she's sick, she's getting her blood work done. Her blood work is going to speak volumes. If she's just taking supplements, her blood work's not going to get any better.
She keeps telling me her blood work, and she literally said this again yesterday when I took her to the emergency room. They say my blood work is perfect. I'm like,
I bet it's not. I
okay.
bet they're not getting, she's probably not getting enough tests done. I just had all mine done and I've been so depressed. I've been like a train wreck and I couldn't figure it out. And I got my blood work done by my naturopathic doctor, which is not a regular doctor, right? And she does way more than a regular doctor. My vitamin D level is at 31. It should be 100. So I feel like crap. So I've upped my vitamin Ds to 15,000 units a day. And in 1 week, it's like night and day. I've got things healing and I feel 100% better. So I would suggest she probably needs a better doctor.
Yeah, you could maybe even in that conversation, Lisa, like look for extra resources for her, like outside of the typical medical box. But some people don't want that. Like they're just
Right,
happy to go to the
right.
doctor that says everything's perfect and and then it's like, see, it's not my fault. It's there's no responsibility in that. But
Yeah.
even just talking to her about stress, like if she's super stressed right now because of money or finances or the move, then that could be impacting our health too. So sometimes it's just being a support there for them. Like you took her to the emergency room. Like don't think that she's not going to remember that, right? Like you went, that's very connective that you're there supporting her and that could just be a matter of time where she comes back around and feels a little bit more stable and then she'll rely back on that relationship that you guys have built.
Okay, that's all good stuff. And I think you hit something that I didn't really, that maybe the Holy Spirit just spoke, but she does say her blood work's good. She only goes to the ER and she's like, I don't want to keep having all these tests done. So I guess some of this is maybe I just need to pray for her and leave it alone. So you just kind of inspired that thought too.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
just show up for her and be there, which you have been. That speaks volumes too. But then again, stand confidently in what you know. You
Mhm.
know that fruits and vegetables are going to help her, but what is she doing outside of Juice Plus? Like, what are you going to do to support yourself nutritionally? If everything was fine, why are you having to go to the emergency room? Like, that's what we're thinking, right? Like, everything's not fine, something's off, but they're not going to do a broad spectrum blood work panel at the ER. They're looking for, high white blood cell count. Like they're looking for the major ER emergency numbers. They're not doing a whole thyroid panel or anything like that. So maybe just kind of being a resource for her there. All right, guys, I'm going to end this recording.